Welcome back, it's Monrroe again with EST samples, and yeah, we're just going to run through some post-processing on that bass patch we did in the other video, and yeah, enjoy. Here's the sound we made in the last video. And what we're going to look at now is just a bit of post-processing to bring this sound alive a bit more, and so this is what it sounds like with it on. So yeah, really just kind of bringing some of the kind of higher elements out and giving it a bit more movement and just giving it a bit more kind of So the way I've achieved this is mainly just by starting off with a lot of kind of parallel effects, by using the audio effect rack in Ableton. So I've just got, on my first chain here is literally just a utility, so I've got the raw sound. If I just group these, because that's post, so that's just the raw sound. And so what we're doing is creating multiple different versions of this same sound and affecting them differently in parallel so that together they form a more cohesive sound. On the second chain, we've just got a super distorted version with the lows cut out and a bit of chorus to spread it out. So what this is doing is just accentuating the more harmonics and higher side of the sound and just bringing that out a bit. And so this is what this sounds like. And so you mix that with the dry signal, and then it should basically create the dry signal with a slight bit more rasp on it coming from that heavily distorted version. And I've just got it turned down here so it's not too overpowering. So that's on. So yeah, you can go quite wild with it. It's a really nice subtle way of just giving that kind of upper mid-range and top end just a little bit more life. And then also alongside that, we've got like a reverb version, which is literally just Ableton's basic reverb with a very small decay time, 100% wet, so it's complete wet signal. And so it sounds like this. So it's just basically giving the bass a little bit of room. And yeah, so that's nothing too major. Again, cutting out anything around the sub kind of zone because we don't want anything too stereo going on in the sub region. And then yeah, on the final chain it sounds something like this. Which again is basically just a really heavily distorted and gnarly version of the initial sound. And for that I've just used Cyanide, which is a free wave shaper, and basically just messed around in this until I found a kind of sound that I thought could work over the top of it. And then yeah, just filtered out the sub end of that, so we're just getting the more harmonic layer, and then a tiny bit of flange, which is 100% wet. And I feel like this just gives that kind of harmonic mid-range bit of the bass just a nice bit of movement. And so with all of them together we get this kind of sound. So just giving it a bit more life than it had before. So this is without it. And then with. And yeah, so that's kind of the initial post-processing, and then a filter just to add some movement, which is a notch, and we're just kind of automating that as we go. If we show you automation here, again, this is totally, you can do this on whatever pattern you want. I was just following the drums that I wanted it to fit with, and so it's just adding a nice little bit of movement, nothing too kind of extreme, but I think any kind of bass layer like this needs a bit of movement just to keep it rolling and keep it alive. And then post that, I've just got a PSP Vintage Warmer, which is just a really nice analog-y-esque sounding saturator. And yeah, it just thickens out the bass a bit like a saturator would. Post that, I've got an EQ8 mid and side again, and I'm just automating the frequency of this little bell here, and it's basically just very subtly moving the more spatial side of the harmonic element of the bass, just moving that about a bit, again just giving it some subtle movement. And then yeah, finally just another version of the RX 950, which is based on the Akai version, which is yeah, just a wicked plugin. Just using that to basically just polish the sound off a bit, finish it all off, gives it again a little bit more of an analog sound, I find, warms it up a bit. That's about it for post-processing on that more harmonic bass.